I was like, I just want to give it up. I want to give it up. But I got this one message from this one awesome black female nerd, and it drew a tear to my eye that it's kind of like, wow, like I'm really making a difference. I'm really being a change in somebody's life. The story of making Blerd over. What was the purpose for it?
Probably shot a Rockefeller hover. Down go to war like a soldier. Yeah. Plus they tried to count me out thinking that it's over. But I got to fight. Rocky Balboa. Yeah, I got to fight like Rocky Balboa. Yeah, I got to fight. Rocky Balboa. Yeah, I got to fight like Rocky Balboa. Rocky Balboa with the fight. Yeah, I got to fight. Yeah, all of my might. Left foot, right foot, left foot, right. Gotta walk for, got the dub in my sight. They thought I was losing, but I still keep coming. Life hit hard, but I never get to running. Try to knock me down, but I never get to budget. Gotta keep moving, cause the victory is coming. Victory, victory, victory. Life tried to get to me, I know I fell down. But I'm gonna stand back up, yeah. I'm going hard in the 12th round.
How y'all doing? My name is Micah Lavender Blair. I'm the founder and creator of Blerd Over LLC. And the beginning of my journey, my story, if you will, of being a black nerd or blerd, which is a new term, it started at a very young age. As you've seen the picture, how I was at a Hallelujah night, which is like the opposite of Halloween night. I was dressed up as Scorpion from Mortal Kombat. And from then on, it just took off. But my original love, which my mother introduced me to, was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And from that set the tone, because the action, the teaching of how to love one another. It doesn't matter what you look like. It doesn't matter where you come from. You always treat everybody with respect, and also treat as each other as brothers and sisters, as a family. Because you had 4 turtles, and you had a rat as their father, and that rat took care of them like it was his very own children. And from that on, that stood out to me. And my mom could tell you from when I first saw that first episode till now, everything you can imagine in my room was covered in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I'm talking about the bedspread, the curtain sheets. I had a locker. I even had the toothpaste and the face rack and the toothbrush. So it was serious for me. So Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles has always been and always will be my first love. And that was my way entering the nerd community. And from then on, I just wanted to know more. What else is out there that is something similar to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? And then I got introduced to the Power Rangers. That's coming home from school. Me and my cousins used to come home from school, sit down, eat fried chicken and rice, because that's what we always eat in the South. But and when we were done with that, we always go down, sit together in the den, and we turned it on to, I think it came on, I think it was Fox. Yeah, it was Fox. And we just heard this awesome theme song, and we just saw 5 teenagers went to high school, and they turned into, which is when I learned later it was called morphine, but they turned into these people that was in yellow, red, pink, blue, black, calling out these dinosaurs. And that was awesome, because at that time we were sitting together as a family watching something like this, and we always wanted to portray these characters that we seen. So when the episode used to end, we used to go outside, and My cousins used to be, I was the only male cousin at the time. So basically all the females had to fight between the pink and the yellow ranger. Me, I had a full range option. I could be the blue, the black, the red. So me being who I am today, I always wanted to be the Red Ranger because the Red Ranger was the leader. So we used to go outside, used to morph, used to have our imaginations, and we just used to say it's morphing time and call out the dinosaurs, and we act like we are the Power Rangers. And the weapons, if you was a kid, as weapons, we used to go find the biggest stick or like the coolest stick, and that would be our weapon. So from then on, just went further into it. And now I'm moving to my middle school years, which this is when everything became worse. I thought everybody was on the same level I was on in middle school, but I was sadly mistaken because I started to watch the show called Dragon Ball Z. Awesome anime. At the time, I didn't know it was an anime. I thought, oh, this is a cool action cartoon. So I went to every day I get out of school, I'll go watch it. Next day I come back, I want to talk about it. But the kids and my classmates at the time was like, bro, why are you talking about this so much? Talk about something else. I'm tired to hear about Dragon Ball Z, Goku this, Goku that, the transformations. That's lame. This is what white people do. You black. You need to act your race. Stay black and stop trying to act white. And that was like my first dose of reality. Like, wow, okay, maybe I am not acting like my race, which at the time, I don't know what that really meant. So I was like, okay, so let me go do something like play basketball, play football, go out, talk to girls, stuff like that as kids, be the class clown, try to make the class laugh. I always got in trouble. The teacher would always call my mom, say, I'm up here acting a fool. And, that was, more acceptable to them because, they was doing that. And you didn't want to be left out as a outcaster. You didn't want to be left out from the fun because you see everybody smiling, having fun, talking constantly, always want to sit by each other at lunch. That's what you wanted. You wanted to feel a part. So I was doing this, but still in my mind, I wanted to talk about Dragon Ball Z. I wanted to talk about that cartoon. And they was like, you know what? You need to stop. And it got to a point where an incident happened to me in middle school where I went to the bathroom. A group of guys came up behind me, picked me up, and dunked my head in a whole toilet. And at that moment, I just felt like, I felt bad. I cried. Couldn't even tell my mom about it, even though if she's watching this, she knows the secret now. And it just made me feel so low. And from then on, I just kind of took that. I didn't want to talk about anything that was cartoon related, superhero related, because that image was in my head, and it's still in my head today, of me being lifted up and my head put in a whole toilet. And everything from there just changed. I stopped talking about cartoons. I stopped doing these things. I focused more on sports, girls, what high school I want to go to, what high schools my friends want to go to, compete against each other in different sports, weightlifting, and getting a car, and things of that nature. Even going to my 8th grade prom, what female I was gonna ask, and it kind of took. That's where everything stopped for me right there. Once that happened, graduated middle school. We went all our separate ways to a different high school. I went to a whole nother high school where at this time my whole image has changed. I wanted to be a pretty boy. I wanted to wear, the latest clothes, get in the car, instead of taking the bus to school every morning, because taking the bus was not the thing to do. But you had to find a way to get to school, because if you miss the bus, your mom and your daddy gonna cuss you out, because they gonna say, why you missed the bus? Ain't no excuse for you missing the bus. So that's what I was focused on as well at that time in high school. And that's when I started to see people who looked like me started to talk about comic books. They started to talk about this thing, anime cartoons. And, you know, and I was intrigued at the time. I wanted to go up to them, introduce myself, say, hey, I know about that, I want to talk about it. But then the image of me having my head dunked in the toilet in 6th grade kind of ruined it. So I was like, oh, they lame, or oh, look at them nerds. You know, that would never be me. You know, because they was always, they wear funny clothes. They was getting talked about. They were being left out of all the parties. Sitting by themselves in the lunchroom, and I know how they felt, but I didn't want to experience that again because of what I've been through in middle school. But inside of me, I wasn't being true to myself. That was actually hurting me more than anything. I was putting on a cosplay, if you will, as a different character, so other people can like me for my cosplay. And what I mean by me dressing up as a cosplay, that's me, I'm putting on a character that people will like and people will know further in my life, and they can remember me being as that athlete, that cool and chill dude in high school. He wasn't, you know, funny, he wasn't different, he wasn't a nerd, he was just a real cool dude that played basketball, that played track, that did soccer, had his own car, loved to talk to females, and that was it. But you know, it was this one person that actually kind of introduced me back into the nerd community. His name was Ishmael, and I used to see him always dressing up as these characters and being at these local gatherings. I didn't know at the time it was called a convention, but I thought it was just a group of people that's meeting up, having this special picnic, if you will. And I would see his pictures. I was like, oh, that's cool. He's dressed up as Static Shock. He's dressed up as Constantine. These characters that I knew and grew up with as a kid. And that seeing him, I went up and talked to him and asked him to explain, like, what are these things that you're doing? And you know, you dressing up as a superhero, a villain, and you meeting up with other people that dress up as well. And he broke it down to me. He says it's called a convention or a Comic-Con, and this is where people would come meet their voice actors or celebrities and go to panels, and you can dress up as in your favorite costume and let people take pictures of you and meet other people that are like you. I was like, oh, that's awesome, that's cool. And people in high school would see me talking to him, and they would label me like, yep, I knew he was weird because he's talking to Ishmael and he dressed weird and he does these weird things like what white people do, and he's black. So I knew that was gonna happen, and sure enough, like that, I fell back into the trap, if you will. But I'm just seeing how his personality was, how he loved life, and the people he was making friends with were like the same things that he liked. But in my mind, I'm still trying to be that cool kid. I'm still trying to be the popular kid at high school. So before I left high school, before graduation, I used to have all these people, my classmates that I went to school with for 4 years, come up to me. I had people like the prom queen, the prom king, captain of the football team, basketball team would come up and say, I knew stuff that you was talking about, but I couldn't talk about it because of my image and the title I held at school. So I didn't want to be associated with you, but you were a cool person. Outside of school, I could keep it. But in school, we had to be from a distance. You understand, you know how that is. So I was like, okay, yeah. So that was done with. Now I'm going to college. I made it to the business. Going to college, to an HBCU college today, which is, HBCU stands for Historically Black College University, HBCU. And I attended the Great Miles College in Fairfield, Alabama, which I was going to take up my major, criminal justice. And now I'm seeing all these things at this college campus, like bands playing, cheerleading, dance girls, fraternities and sororities, and stuff that will spark your interest of being a part of college life. And as I'm walking around campus, I saw my friend Ishmael. He attended Miles College as well. So we got back up with each other. We started talking, and he was telling me more about conventions and more into detail about cosplaying. And I said, explain cosplay to me. He said, basically cosplay, you could dress up as any character from a movie, TV show, cartoon, anime, book that you like, and you could dress up as that character and you portray that character when you go to conventions. And he was telling me about how conventions would be. He said, man, it's nothing, it's like a big nerd party where you could be yourself and you can find other people who like the same stuff you like and just have a good time and not be judged by what you like because they like the same thing that you like. I was like, okay, cool. So I'm getting more into it. So you know what? I think I want to try to cosplay, and I really would like to attend a convention or a Comic-Con. He said, cool, just let me know. It's one coming up soon. Just let me know what you want to do and we could meet up and hang out. I was like, awesome. And at the time, I was getting ready to join a organization, a Black Greek organization, which is called Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated. And I was in the process of joining that great fraternity, which I have met a good friend, Jeremy Lee, and he was into the stuff that I was into, to the superheroes and everything, in which I made it through the fraternity, and he gave me the name, which is Lex Luthor, and I was number 5 on mine, and the name of our line was the 7 DC Villains. So I thought that was cool in itself to name me that, the arch nemesis of Superman, and calling my whole line the 7 DC Villains. And from then on, we started hanging out. We started talking about anime, Naruto, Dragon Ball Z, making skits and videos about it, and it was an awesome feeling. And from then on, graduated college, went our separate ways. He started working for the news. I became a police officer, and that's when I was dating at the time. This woman, and we was hanging out at a cereal bar in Birmingham, which was awesome. And I just sat down. I just want to, start talking to her about, being a nerd and the idea of being a Black nerd. I said, I just want to do something to show the love, to show the excellence that's going on inside the community. So we started talking about it more. I just handed her a phone. I said, record me. She said, what you gonna do? I said, just record me. I got something in my mind that I want to do. And she gave me the countdown in 3, 2, 1, action. And I introduced myself as Skip.88. I'm here from Birmingham, Alabama. I'm a Black nerd. I'm going to do something that is going to bring all the Black nerds together to network and to have a good time and to celebrate the excellence, the Black excellence inside the nerd community. And we saved that video. And then that day forward, I went to my first convention, which it was an awesome experience. I dressed up as Nigel Uno. And for many of you, that is number 1 from the show called Code Name Kid Next Door. I had the red turtleneck sweater with the khaki shorts, with the white tube tops, with the Timberland boots. And I went to the convention. It was awesome just seeing all these awesome cosplayers there. And just going around, taking pictures, talking. I saw my friend Ishmael there, and he was just showing me the ropes of, these are panels, these are special guests, the do's and don'ts, always wear deodorant, just little stuff like that. So I'm walking around, and I start hearing like negative comments about, that's a good cosplay. That's a great cosplay. Then walk off. then they come back and say, well, we do know that that character is not black. That character doesn't fit because it doesn't have dark skin. And just hearing that comment kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I was like, so how can you go up to somebody's face and say they got a good cosplay, but once they walk away from you, you say that the cosplay character is not black. It doesn't have dark skin. That character they're portraying would never be black. And that was kind of shocking to hear. And then more and more I will walk around this convention, I would hear and see more of this. And I was like, this is what I've been excited for. This is what I've been wanting to get into. And you labeling, you are still labeling people of color, as, a negative image because they're cosplaying that character. Or, they go up and say, oh, you are Black Wonder Woman. You are Black Batman. You are Black Superman. So why are you putting the color before the character? That's when I never understood that. And so I remember that I still had that video, and I watched that video. I said, this is what I can do. I can put on for the African Americans and people of color in the nerd community and be a safe haven for them and network, and just to show more of the Black excellence in the nerd community, because there have been so many great people that I have met during this process that it's a beautiful journey, and I regret nothing to this day, each step I took to make this happen. And I just wanted to have an idea of, let's do a podcast. Let's talk about nerdy things coming from the African American aspect of being a nerd. Let's talk about topics like video games, the latest comic that's coming out, the animes that we grew up with and watched, or what's coming out. And let's do things like that and see how it took off. So I started sitting down thinking, and what name can identify myself to make it feel more welcoming and to make it seem kind of different, but not too different that people want to watch and to see what's going on. So I just sat down one night and just started thinking of stuff I could put together, like Black Nerds Takeover, or Black Nerd Alliance, or Being a Black Nerd, or Black Geeks Alliance. And I kept thinking, and I just remember seeing the show Scrubs, where it was this black doctor, this nurse on there saying like, oh yeah, my brother, he's a blerd. And I remember the guy looked at, what is a blerd? Oh, that's a black nerd. And I was like, okay, blerd. It's something new, it's kind of something unique, and it's kind of put the mixture of black with nerd. So I said, how about blerd done, blerd drop, or blerd over? And I kept saying blerd over. That I like that, blerd over. Hence the word from takeover. I just dropped the tape, put the blerd on top of it, blerd over, and that's how blerd over came to be, which started in the year of 2019 of when the idea freshly came to mind. And once I told certain people about it, like close friends, fraternity brothers, sorority sisters, that what I want to do, they was on board with it because I knew them from my past of what they liked and what they wanted to do. That's when we moved forward with the podcast. So we made the first group of Blerd Over.
One, go. What's going on, everybody? This your boy SKIP.88, the first pilot episode of Blerd Over. I got my crew with me. I got two of my crew members holding the camera. We got Ulysses and we got Tigo right there.
We did our first two podcasts, and from the first two, everything kind of died down because people got into the organization for the wrong reasons. They wanted their own game. They saw my vision, but keep in mind, when you ask somebody, can nobody else see your vision but you? You are only one person. You can't make nobody else see your vision. So when that started to happen, I just had to think of an idea like I have to do more. I want to do more, and that's when I came up with the idea of let me interview everyday people who's like myself that's been through the struggle, like I've been through the struggle in my past, and see what they got to say, and let other people hear their stories, because I know I am one of many stories that you're going to see and hear of being a Black nerd. So let me put it out more. Let me put my culture for service out more to the people who are Black nerds, and let the world see, because stories like mine have to be heard, have to be seen for our younger generation, because we can't do this forever. You know, everything gets old and everything has to start anew. So hopefully this documentary, my stories, my past, will inspire you who's watching this right now. If you're seeing me right now, what's stopping you to do what I'm doing right now? There's no excuse. You can do anything you want to, just put your mind to it. So this is the reason why I do the interviews. I want people to hear your stories. I want people to see you. I want people to see the words that's coming out your mouth. If you want to laugh, if you want to cry, I want people to see the real emotions and let them know that this is not nothing scripted. This is improv. This is like, oh, this is really top of the dome. Like, this person is really went through something, and I want to be that influence to them and give them that encouragement to keep doing what they're doing, because people need that. So I found a second group of people, and from here on in, everything has been going up. We got from 5,000 followers to 10K, but during that 5,000 to 10K, it has been a struggle. It has been a real struggle. It was to the point where I wanted to quit. And the reason I wanted to quit, because I felt as though I wasn't doing nothing. That everybody out there is doing the same thing that I'm doing. So what makes me unique? What makes me special from anybody else? And that's getting the outpour of love from people I have never seen before. Hopefully I can meet soon, but I've never seen before. I never heard from before. But since I made Blerd Over, I got that love and support. I got this one message that's saying you don't need to quit. You are loved in this community. You are a pillar in this community. Keep going. Keep moving forward. And with that, I have got my first fan art, which I never thought that was going to happen. And I got my first fan art. It was from a character from Demon Slayer, and it was awesome. And this having people with a card, sending me a card, sending me a whole book of the comics that people left under that post that I made on the Blerd Over IG page. It was inspiring. So for me having that in my mind, it meant that I'm actually making a difference. I'm actually making a stand. I'm actually making a point in this life for somebody else to be who they are, to love what they love, to watch what they want to watch, and to cosplay whatever they want to cosplay. So I'm telling you now, what is your excuse of not being part of the community? You see what I'm doing. You see what I've been through. I promise you, all it takes is a small mustard seed, a little bit of faith with drive and passion, and you can do whatever you want to do in this Blerd community. We want you, we need you, we love you. You are awesome, you are special, you are unique. You are who you are. Don't blend in. Stand out. Be different. And as I always say, WTW. What's the word? UNITY. What does that spell? Unity. And this is how me and y'all gonna make it through life in this awesome community together. It is the Blerd community. It is our community. Nothing don't move and nothing doesn't shake without you. making this community what it is. So get out the couch, get out there, be a content creator, be a costume designer, be a prop designer, be an artist, make your own podcast. I promise you, it's nothing that you can't do in this world. Everything is there for you. It's just you to go out there and grab it.
See, the real question we have to ask ourselves is, what if nobody's coming? Nobody has to help you. That's something you got to really quickly understand. And when I say do it yourself, I am not saying just go out here and be rogue or be wild. I'm saying we have to detach from the spirit of entitlement to assistance. Nobody has to help you pay your bills. Nobody has to help your career jump off. Nobody has to help you go to another level. You have to get to a place in your life where if they come, I welcome the assistance. But if they don't, like James Brown said, I'll kick the door open and get it myself.
There are very few blerds, and a blerd is a black nerd that loves everything about cosplay, manga, video games, conventions, Comic-Cons, you name it. So I just want to let the people know in the world that black people are more than what the media and society see us as. And we are actually sitting here doing a whole documentary about being a blerd in Birmingham with my camera guy right here, Jeremy Lee, over Blue Ambitions, with my lovely girlfriend, Blerd Sunbay. Y'all check her out. And I think she really broke my lifesaver. I'm gonna talk about this. This gonna be on a documentary. She broke my lifesaver, y'all. Out of all things you can break, because it's supposed to stay on. How did you break it? Did you drop it? This is going. See, it keep going out. It just keep going out. Maybe you need to be charged. That's probably what it is, because it keep cutting out a certain amount of time. But I hope y'all really enjoy this documentary. So we really trying to put this out for the blerds in the world, and I hope y'all appreciate it. Let your friends know about it. And this is Skip.88. God damn it, it's out again. From Blerd Over LLC, a non-profit organization in the city of Birmingham, Alabama. And we're out.
Living in a crazy world, following the path that always twists and turns. Gave up on your sanity to hide behind the devil, 'cause you think you'll live forever. Say you're never getting old, out there thinking that you're in the world alone. No one ever told you that you have to live for something, or in the end there will be nothing. It's true.